He has become the ultimate nightmare for bullies. After suffering so much at their hands in the past, he now beats them down with pure and unadulterated hatred, showing absolutely no mercy. These punks love torturing their victims, but the moment they meet someone stronger they run away. Our MC is fueled by so much rage that he ignored the victim just to chase down the attacker. It doesn't matter how many enemies stand in his way, he charges right in and pummels them all with everything he's got. Consumed by fury, the boy took down the lackeys and kicked open the boss's door. He spent his whole life getting stepped on, but now, he's the one crushing them under his boot. Let's go back 1 year to understand where this rage comes from. Our protagonist, Kang Han-neul, is at school hanging out with his friend Seung-ha, chatting about the upcoming MMA championship. Suddenly, a bunch of guys started rushing in the same direction, which made him pretty curious. Turns out, it was all for a new girl that every guy seems to have a crush on. With every passing second, she got closer, until she stopped right in front of him, making him totally awkward. He starts apologizing like a fool, but she just grabs his hand and talks like she already knows him. The other students are furious watching this unfold. Sometime later, in the cafeteria, a kid with a bowl cut came over to ask for a favor, spinning a sob story about helping starving kids and claiming he couldn't go because of his broken leg. So, he asked if Han-neul could handle the delivery this time. Kang Han-neul agreed and rushed off to help those kids. He went to the market, bought the supplies, and hurried out to the address the guy gave him. When he got there, he saw a bunch of older guys in a classroom, until a giant loomed behind him, and he realized it was a trap. He stood facing the bullies, who said this was all because of his friendship with Bowl Cut. The kid who set him up tried to apologize, but the head bully had an idea to force Four Eyes to hit him, or else they would both get a beating. Not wanting to get beaten up, Kang Han-neul started getting his ass kicked while the bullies just laughed at the situation. Out of nowhere, the popular girl called Alpha showed up and decided to help him out, getting him away from those bullies. Later that same night, he started to understand why some people choose suicide, that it's because they don't see any other way out, and that's exactly how he felt at that moment. Seung-ha found him and asked since when all of this started. He, wanting to be left alone, told her to stop pretending she cared about him and walked away, saying that if she followed him. The next day at school, he was having his meal at school, and the bully came back there to hit him, saying there was a fly on his head. Not satisfied, another one also went there and tried to hit him, but his friend arrived just in time and stopped it. The bully got pissed and started putting his hand inside her clothes. She was completely embarrassed. The bully said school was over for her and left the classroom. One bully questioned why he didn't hit her, and the other one replied that his appetite went crazy. On the way back home, Han-neul once again told her to stop following him, but she said no, because she cared about him. The day he jumped in the river to save her, that's when her dad started touching her body. He, not knowing who she was the only one who cared about her, and to her, he was way more than a father. So she's going to care about him and there's nothing he can do about it. The moment he turned around to explain why she just vanished, that's when he realized she got kidnapped. In the middle of some abandoned buildings, there was Seung-ha surrounded by the bullies. They started holding her down, she started screaming. Their leader took off his dirty sock and shut her mouth. They started touching her whole body, and she had a completely empty look. And here comes Han-neul, trying to be a hero, but he just got hit with a stick and went down to the ground. Now in addition to her being touched, he is being beaten. Not understanding, he asks why they're doing this. The group's leader looks at him coldly and replies, "There's no reason not to do it." She desperately begs them to stop, but unsatisfied, the aggressor rips off her clothes and decides to take his perversion further, destroying the girl's life forever. Han-neul starts blaming himself for being a failure, and right there he swore to become as strong as possible. After that terrifying night, he tried to join a fighting gym, but with no success. On his way back home, head down, he spotted criminals robbing a drunk guy. Fed up with this unfair world, he tries to intervene and charges forward with a rock, but, useless as he is, he ends up tripping on a stone on the ground and loses the battle before it even starts. The thugs stared at him, confused by the scene. The moment they were about to attack him, a girl appears kicking one of them in the face, leaving everyone in shock. Another one tried to hit her with an empty bottle, but she dodged skillfully, grabbed him by his shirt collar and applied a spinning move on him. She defeated the thugs by herself, and the protagonist was amazed by her strength. They carried the drunk guy and went on their way. During the walk back home, Han-neul wondered how she was so strong. She said she only beat those thugs because of his help. He didn't understand the answer right away. If it wasn't for that stupid move, they would have seen her coming. He asks her how she knows how to fight. The answer was unexpected, with her uncle. Yes, that drunk guy was her uncle and also her martial arts master. Hearing that, he bowed down in respect and started begging him to train him too. But the man kept on sleeping, exactly like Han-neul imagined. Seconds later, he quickly gets up and warns him that the training can be exhausting. Han-neul realized there was no refusal and then started thanking him. After a lot of talking, he just needed to sign the paper to become his student. But he discovers an 8-2 clause about the money from fights. The drunk makes it clear that the 8 part is his. Since Hanul wants strength and not wealth, he grabs the pen and signs the paper. The drunk was pretty happy with his decision, and the guy snatched it like it was gold. Then, he turned to the person on the other end of a call he'd been on the whole time. The drunk guy bragged he finally got a new toy to play with. Our hero felt like he was getting played. The class he signed up for? Self-defense for women. Oops. Kang Ha-nul asked if he was the toy mentioned on the call. The guy told him to take off his glasses. He did, but was like, why though? The drunk guy said he'd be unstoppable without them, but the boy was confused. The master promised everything would make sense eventually. Kang Ha-nul asked about their guest, and the drunk guy mentioned the upcoming Strongest Teen MMA competition, saying their guest was the reason it was happening. Right then, the guest walked in. Before the boy could even process it, there was a loud bang in the room. Meanwhile, in a skyscraper, an old dude, Kang Du-chul, was deep in thought. He's the big boss of Hyun Sung Group, asking about Kang Yeon. His assistant said the tournament stopped his grandkid from picking fights, proving the plan was working. Kang Du-chul asked why his grandkid loved fighting strong people. The assistant said Kang Yeon wanted to stand out with his fighting skills, feeling ignored by the elite crowd. Then, the assistant brought up the teen's parents' divorce, only to say sorry for being a jerk, but the old dude was all, nah, I'm right, and said his son's divorce really messed up his grandson. He then asked his sidekick if he found a sparring buddy for his grandson, since last time he got so hyped he checked out every school in Korea to find one. So the sidekick was like, yep, found one, and said the guy signed the contract all on his own. The old man got super curious about who this wild person was. Meanwhile, back at the dojo, angry yelling was bouncing off the walls. Our hero was face down on the floor. The boy loosened his tie, saying this nerd couldn't help him train since one punch knocked him out. The drunk laughed, saying it wasn't the punch that floored Kang Ha-nul. This got Kang Yeon really curious. So the master explained that the hero, who hadn't eaten or slept in days, wasn't knocked out, just snoozing. The drunk then bragged that his new student wouldn't be so easy to beat. Kang Yeon got mad, saying he'd beaten tougher guys before. So the master said everything would be revealed in time. Later, a weird noise woke up our hero. He didn't know how he fell asleep and said the noise was killing his appetite, only to realize it was him munching. Kang Ha-nul was shocked since he didn't remember starting to eat. Then he noticed he had eaten a ton. Soon after, he saw someone in front of him. Kang Yeon, happy to see him awake, started teasing him for eating and sleeping at the same time. Our hero asked who he was, not recognizing him without his glasses. Suddenly, he felt startled and backed away quickly. Kang Ha-nul demanded to know why the tall guy tried to kick him, but the guy was clueless. Kang Yeon was amazed that someone who couldn't see well reacted to just the thought of a kick. The teens were intrigued as the drunk explained it was our hero's bad vision at work. The master reminded the tall guy he couldn't beat his new student. While the short one was curious, the tall high schooler found it funny and told Kang Ha-nul this was the end for him. Our hero asked the teacher why this random teen wanted to beat him up. So the teacher reminded him he signed the contract willingly and now they could legally beat him up. Kang Ha-nul was baffled by this scam. Only then was he left startled. The taller guy threw a powerful punch, knocking our hero to the ground. Kang Yeon was happy to prove he was stronger than the skinny nerd. This made the drunk smile. 2. Kang Yeon's shock. His opponent called the drunk. Our hero wanted to cancel the contract, saying it was useless if it meant his end. Kang Yeon was shocked to see someone as skinny as our hero stand back up after taking his full strength. So he charged at him again, punching with all his might. He then raised his leg to continue his combo, kicking the back of our hero's head to bash it into the ground. Kang Yeon tried to catch his breath, wondering why he couldn't feel any contact with his fist. With that, our hero started begging for mercy. His opponent was shocked to see him unharmed. The drunk said the prodigy couldn't take down Kang Ha-nul without his glasses. This made the boy furious, demanding an explanation, seeing how weak and pathetic our hero seemed. So the master explained it was due to his golden sight, leaving both teens confused. He explained that since a fighter's opponent always tries to dodge the final attack, one would try to make it unpredictable. Yet no matter how skilled a fighter is at hiding his moves, there's a part of the body that always gives it away. That part is the torso, which reacts instinctively no matter how one tries to change the direction of his arm. Yet Kang Yeon was totally clueless about how the whole golden sight thing was relevant. So, the tipsy dude explained that the biggest hurdle in seeing the torso right is, well, your own eyes, because there's just too much going on to focus on one spot. Think of those scary thugs with a ton of tattoos. It's like sensory overload, just like trying to nail a track move. The guy then pointed at his student, saying his eyes see everything blurry but can still zero in on the body's center. Kang Yi-an thought this was totally bonkers. Kang Ha-neul agreed, saying the drunk was just making excuses so he wouldn't bail and that he couldn't see the torso move. He added that the drunk couldn't possibly know how bad his eyesight was since he hadn't done any tests. Then the guy whipped out our hero's glasses and said he'd tried them on. Kang Yi-an thought this was nuts. Like, how could the master figure out someone's eyes just by trying their glasses? The teacher was like, "Oh, I totally can." He then smirked and said he and his student had the same epic eyes. Apparently, the tall one heard that the golden sight lets you dodge every punch, but the tipsy dude revealed that wasn't our hero's only skill. He had killer instincts to react instantly to moves. He summed it up by saying his student was a martial arts genius. The so-called genius was like, "Yeah, right." The master then said his student was the best dodger in all of Korea, and even Kang Yi-an had a slim chance of hitting him. This made the tall one think he'd be unstoppable after beating his short sparring buddy. So he was super pumped to bash the protagonist's skull, but the protagonist was like, "Nah, the master's talking nonsense." Then the drunk said sparring was done for the day, but the rich kid offered to pay double to keep going. The broke drunk was all in. A big decision was made for our hero without him even knowing, and just like that, the brutal sparring session kept going. That's how Kang Ha-neul spent his whole summer break getting smacked around without learning a thing before school started. Our hero felt chill and confused watching the pendulum swing in front of him. The word glasses popped into his head. It was the only thing he could think about. Kang Ha-neul got lost in the idea of glasses until he finally snapped awake. Confused, he thought it was just a dream. He wondered why he was out cold in the street, only to see his master right there, asking the same thing. Kang Ha-neul was like, "I have no clue what's going on." The master reminded him that today was the first day of the new term, so our hero dashed off to school. Then someone spoke to the drunk. It was the elf, wanting to know why he hypnotized the kid. The master grinned and explained he set up a mental trick to stop Kang Ha-neul from bottling up his feelings. Lee Ha-ru was puzzled and asked about this trick, so the master explained it was all about the glasses. He kept it simple, saying a cool trick would show up once his student lost his glasses. Later at school, Kang Ha-neul sat alone, thinking about how his peers still saw him as a loser. Just as he started whining about his lack of fighting skills since he couldn't land a hit all vacation, someone overheard him. At first, he was confused, then realized it was his bullies who hadn't seen him in a while, asking why he was learning to fight. They figured he did it to stand up to them, so they wanted to see how strong he got. The bully then kicked him with all his might to slam him into the wall. They came back for more. One even said they'd cut him some slack if he became their minion and paid them tributes. He told him to say thanks, but when he got the silent treatment, he thought it was super rude. The bully started whacking the main dude on the head, then went for a mega slap that really hurt. The slap was so epic it knocked Kang Ha-neul's glasses to the floor, shattering them. The bully said none of this would have happened if he just followed orders. Then they went off to smoke, telling their sidekick to have the cash ready for tomorrow, when suddenly, the sidekick called them losers. The bully was totally ticked off. To everyone's surprise, Kang Ha-neul stood up and demanded to know where someone was. Kang Ha-neul wanted to find their boss. A crowd started gathering around them. The bully felt super awkward being the center of attention, so he grabbed a broomstick nearby, snapped it, and charged at our hero to teach him a lesson. He swung with all his might, and the broomstick broke, but it didn't hit the target. The bully was stunned. Kang Yi-an jumped in at the last second, saying he was the only one allowed to mess with Kang Ha-neul. The bully didn't recognize this new guy, so one of his pals mentioned they were expecting a new student today. Hearing this, the student called out Kang Yi-an for being so bold, but when he said he wouldn't fight if he just kept talking, the bully got mad and pulled out a knife. He was ready to teach the newbie a lesson. Just then, an adult saw the kids, and the teacher demanded an explanation. The thug said he was just showing the new kid around school. He decided to continue the tour and suggested settling their differences later. With that, the teacher left, telling the boys not to cause trouble at the start of the year. As the thugs were leaving, one of them told the main guy to meet them at the abandoned building after school. There he'd find what he was looking for, and finally meet the big boss. Later that night at the dojo, Kang Yi-an was annoyed his sparring partner was late, so the master said he should check on him, Kang Yi, and thought it was silly because helping his partner meant missing the strongest teenager tournament. But when the drunk said he was worried, the high schooler said he'd never seen him worry about a student before, so he explained he wasn't worried about the main guy. The master said that in the last month, Kang Ha-neul learned some counters, but they lacked power for some reason. Kang Yi-an said those counters were weak against him because of the power gap. The master said that wasn't it, and while the tall one trained normally, his student was pushing his limits every day, and the reason his punches lacked power was because he wasn't angry enough. Kang Yi-an was super confused, so it was explained that Kang Ha-neul wouldn't fight honorable opponents like him. The master said, in other words, our main guy could only really fight when angry, and he was super chill when calm, which made it sound like Kang Ha-neul would crush the prodigy if he got mad. The drunk said that wasn't true and his student lacked power, but hey, you can make up for strength in street fights. If the main guy ever went berserk, he'd easily crush the street thugs, which is why the master was worried about his opponents. This really annoyed the boy. Meanwhile, at the abandoned building, as the students climbed the stairs, Kang Ha-neul was shocked to feel his fear turn into anger and a desire to crush all the bullies. These new feelings were eating him up inside. Just like that, the students reached Kang Dae-chun's room. Our hero paused for a second and checked out the room. Seeing it filled with thugs, drunks, and all sorts of bad guys, he couldn't help but grin with excitement. Kang Ha-neul spotted the one at the end of the room as the target of his revenge. As the poor girl begged him for help, he remembered the nightmare that happened to his friend. Her aggressor started cracking up, seeing her ask the so-called pathetic Kang Ha-neul for help. No shame at all. But before he could make a move, bam, a quick hit landed. Kang Ha-neul, the pathetic one, kicked him in the neck so hard, dude's teeth shattered and he was out cold in one hit. Seeing this, all the thugs were on high alert. The boy called out the big boss to show up. With that, the bullies decided to end the life of the outsider. But as they rushed him, his hand found a brick. With that, he charged headfirst at the goons, easily bashing the first one's skull with his brick. The second thug tried to whack him with a stick, swinging it so hard it broke on Kang Ha-neul's head. But he couldn't care less, saw it as a chance to slam another one with his brick. Then, goon number 3 came at him from above. The hero quickly tossed his brick to smash the glass bottle in the thug's hand. Before the thug knew what hit him, he got kicked in the stomach so hard he flew into one of his buddies. In anger, the blonde one whipped out a knife. But before he could crawl out from under his friend, the hero stomped his chest with all his might. Seeing this, the rest freaked out and ran for their lives. Now our hero was left with the big guy in the chair, thinking it was Kang Dae-chun. Ha-neul charged at him with serious intent, but hearing a familiar voice, he got confused. It was the thug's minion begging for mercy. Ha-neul was shocked to see Tae sick. He revealed the thugs ordered him to film them ganging up on the hero. Yet our hero, still fuming, punched the table in disappointment. Ha-neul demanded to know where Dae-chun was. Just then, one of the bullies woke up. He quickly approached him, but when asked about Kang Dae-chun's whereabouts, he claimed he didn't know. Ha-neul spotted his weapon nearby. He grabbed it and asked again, but the bully insisted he had no ties with the dropout. Ha-neul didn't care and charged with the brick, demanding to know where Kang Dae-chun was. But just as he was about to go too far, a friend stepped in. Kang Yi-an told him to chill out. Before the hero could say he'd take him on too if he meddled, his friend kicked him. It was so strong it knocked him into the air. Kang Yi-an wasn't done, slamming him into the ground. Then he told him again to calm down. The hero said his friend had no clue what he was going through, but hearing he had info on his target, he was shocked. So, he angrily demanded to know where Kang Dae-chun was. He even charged at his sparring partner to get answers by force. The sparring partner was eager to see how strong the hero really was. But before they could clash, the sensei stepped in. A drunk guy showed up just in time, and as he spilled what he knew about Kang Dae-chun, Ha-neul's eyes widened. Turns out, the big bad was in the strongest youth tournament. Before the hero could ask more, he lost balance and fell into his master's arms. The boy was out of commission. Kang Yi-an worried he might have passed out, but the drunk said he just lost consciousness from overworking, like the madman he is. With that, the hero's rampage was finally over. Later, back at the dojo, the drunk teased how much his new student loves sleeping. Lee Ha-ru seemed worried about him. The drunk said the hospital confirmed Ha-neul didn't have any major injuries, so they could chill. He then asked the elf why she cared so much about the boy. Watching her struggle to get into the same school as him was kinda wild, especially since she always said she'd rather be a loner than hang with some boring, empty person forever. Lee Ha-ru spilled the tea that she first spotted our main dude in the second year of middle school when she was visiting her master. That day, a girl took a dive into the water, which was super high because of the heavy rain. In the end, everyone was just yelling for help, because no one was about to swim through those crazy currents. Then, out of nowhere, someone actually jumped into the river. Turns out this person couldn't even swim, but still went for it to save the girl. From that moment, the universe was like, this dude's different from the other boys his age. When the master heard this, he was like, yeah, my student does dumb stuff when lives are on the line. He was kinda bummed because he couldn't toughen the boy up for the competition, especially since the boy had already won over his niece, the elf. Lee Ha-ru was shook and was like, nah, I don't see him like that. So the uncle was like, alright, I'm just gonna ignore this whole thing. He then told the girl he had already warned the boy about Dae-chun in the tournament, just like she asked, before asking why she was so obsessed. Lee Ha-ru was like, I don't know much, but it might be because Ha-neul's close friends stopped going to school around the time Dae-chun dropped out. That got him thinking that the girl our hero saved from the water was the same one. Meanwhile, Somewhere else in the city, Sheng-ha was just wandering around, lost in her thoughts. But then, she accidentally bumped into a thug and hit the ground. The thug got all mad and told her to watch where she was going. He got even angrier when she just started picking up her apples without saying anything. The dude grabbed her by the collar, but Sung-ha stayed quiet. This just made him madder, and he decided to teach her a lesson. But just as he was about to hit her, someone stopped his hand. A mysterious hero had arrived. Kang Yi-an called out the bully for being lame and trying to hit a girl. The thug turned his anger on Kang Yi-an, but Kang dodged his punch like a pro. Before the bully knew it, he was on the ground, thanks to a swift kick. His buddies rushed to help him, but they all bailed, planning revenge. Kang Yi-an asked the girl if she was okay, but she just kept picking up her apples. Seeing she wanted to be left alone, he offered to help her up, but Sheng-ha shook him off and told him to back off with a cold stare. As she walked away, Kang Yi-an was left totally stunned. Later that day, in the women's self-defense dojo, Kang Ha-neul woke up from his nap. He was confused to find himself wearing his glasses. Putting them on felt like a reality check, and taking them off made him feel invisible. With them on, he felt powerless, but he remembered one thing clearly, the rush he felt beating up the bullies, replacing guilt and shame. He realized his mind was stuck on one thing. Our hero was almost craving more of that action against those jerks. Just then, someone opened the door. It was the elf checking in on him. She said he loses his scary vibe with his glasses on, but he didn't get it. So she explained he looks more chill with them on. Lee Haru then asked him to meet her on the first floor, so he headed there right away. Once on the first floor of the dojo, the master gave a quick rundown of the tournament to his students. The tournament, happening in a month, got a new name, Saint League, which stands for Super Teenager. 32 teens with the top scores got the golden ticket to join after acing their district prelims. The master dropped the bomb that Kang Dae-chun was in the tournament too. Our hero was totally shook. The drunk dude spilled that he only knew the name because the organizers kept everything hush-hush to stop any pre-fight sabotage. He explained that our hero's target was a level 3 champ, basically fighting royalty in the capital, so Ha-neul had to level up. Hearing this, he was all in for the tournament. The master said he already signed him up, but reminded him he owed 80% of the prize money, thanks to the contract. The elf thought that was super unfair, but when her uncle said the boy signed the papers willingly, she realized how annoying this guy was. The master was curious about Kang Yi-an, who was entering his first tournament and had 0 questions. Little did he know, Yi-an was lost in thought, wondering if the girl he saved was in college or high school and why she hated him. Snapped back to reality, he asked the teacher what kind of guy girls dig. Everyone was stunned, including the boy who realized what he just blurted out. The master couldn't believe it. Embarrassed, Kang Yi-an said he was asking for a friend. The master found it hilarious, knowing he was a loner, but the boy insisted it wasn't true. Cue the endless teasing about Kang Yi-an crushing on a girl. That night, our hero knew he should head home and avoid trouble to stay in the tournament. But for some reason, he was out looking for thugs to fight. Despite being scared, it was like an addiction pulling him to where he felt powerful again. He missed the rush of beating opponents, which made all his worries disappear. Out of nowhere, someone called him over. Seeing the group of thugs in the alley, his heart raced with regret, thinking this was a bad move. Then, bam, he got smacked on the head and hit the ground. The thug told him to hurry up. The 3 thieves rummaged through his pockets, but when he said he had nothing, they liked his guts and told him to take off his glasses. The thug didn't want to get hurt by glass shards when punching him, but he didn't budge. This ticked off the bully, who knocked the glasses off our hero. As soon as they hit the ground, something clicked in his mind. Unleashed, the mad beast thought entering the alley was a genius move. With that, he charged at the thug, but the guy didn't flinch as his buddy appeared, grabbed Kang Ha-neul, and slammed him into the wall. The thief was so strong, our hero couldn't break free. Han-chul was told to chill since he needed to get ready for the tournament, but the redhead was set on finishing the fight. As Han-chul geared up for a big punch, Ha-neul knew he had to escape. Just as the big guy launched his attack, he noticed something interesting and broke free. Kang Ha-neul was confused but stayed focused on his opponent's eyes. With that, he landed a powerful hit. He thought he did major damage, but to his shock, the opponent stood tall. Then, his leg got grabbed by the opponent. Just when he thought it was over, a whistle blew, and the thugs realized the cops were there. They bolted, escaping the law before vanishing into the night. After getting away, Han-chul was asked why he let his target go. The redhead confused his friend by saying he didn't let the boy go on purpose. He smiled, saying it was his first time meeting someone like him. The redhead's friend urged him to explain. Han-chul was all, "Dude, in a sitch like this, you'd totally freak out and just quit." Basically, the thief just needed one epic punch, but doing that would make him lose his grip for a sec. You'd hear him break free, just by trusting his gut. Han Chul was stoked he found a way to block the opponent and was itching for a rematch. Meanwhile, back at the showdown, Hanul found his specs and slapped them on. He ended up feeling all weak and stuff, which he totally wanted to dodge. Then, someone rolled up to him. His master was like, "You lost 'cause of the weight class thing." Our hero was all, "How do I beat that?" The teacher was like, "Not really doable, your opponent's way bigger." The twink was shook, thinking the drunk meant he couldn't beat the weight class thing, but then he was like, "Nah, it's easy. Kang Hanul just needed to bulk up." Next day at the dojo, faced with a mountain of food, Kang Hanul couldn't believe he had to chow it all down. The teacher said he could bail on the training, but the boy was all in and started munching. Mid-feast, he asked if he'd get sick from eating so much. The master laughed, saying it was a silly question, but yeah, he might. The dude even said it could shorten his life, but he'd get swole. Hearing that, our hero went all in, no hesitation. Then someone told him his match was set. Right then, the elf walked in with the deets and said there was a problem. She said his opponent was a thug known for his crazy strength. Lee Haru asked if they knew Han Chul. The young man was shook. The master saw his student knew the opponent. He said it was yesterday's thief, and things got tricky while the girl asked if he knew the thug. He said he saw Han Chul from a distance yesterday, saying he was a total heavyweight with mad muscles. Kang Hanul was like, "I'm ready for anything," and begged for tips to beat him. The master turned to the elf, asking how a girl could take down a boy. Lee Haru said it was all about hitting vital points when they least expect it. The master knew that wouldn't work, cause guys like Han Chul are always on guard, so they needed another way to hit those vital points. He thought about all the stuff his student was better at than the redhead. Strength, height, weight, experience, all seemed hopeless, but there was one thing they could use: speed. No matter how fast the heavyweight is, he should be too slow to catch a nimble lightweight. Kang Hanul asked if he should stop bulking up. The drunk was like, "That's the worst idea," which confused him. To explain, he said a star athlete like Messi isn't a 60-kilo twink, but a 70-kilo muscle machine. So they needed to boost our hero's muscle mass to 73 kilos ASAP. This left both students shook. Later that night, training wasn't done. Kang Hanul was giving it his all when the rope snapped, and he face-planted into the pillar. Our hero asked if this training would really let him take on the heavyweight class, but the master didn't answer, just said to get 6 hours of sleep before starting again. Hanul was like, "I already slept all day like you said." The drunk said he wanted him to sleep, eat, and train twice a day to treat each day as two, but Hanul didn't get how that'd help. Seeing how thick the boy's skull was, the master decided to break it down again. "No, not literally." He said human muscles are like super delicate threads, and they're a total challenge. Hanul thought his master meant they needed to handle them with care, like a fragile package. But nope, the master said he got it all wrong. Plot twist. Turns out the hero was supposed to wreck his own body. What a twist. Shocked, he asked for the 411. The master explained that when a muscle gets wrecked, it heals back stronger, like a superhero power-up. And the secret sauce for muscle recovery? Snoozing, lots of it. The master said the boy would train his fighting muscles and could double his growth by napping twice a day. Power nap goals. Hanul wondered if this would stress his body out. The master thought that was a silly question. Classic. He laughed, saying it would and might even cut the young dude's lifespan. Yikes. Even after hearing this, the boy still didn't get why he needed to train his grip. His palms hurt so much. Focusing on anything else was a struggle. The master said all would be revealed when the boy starts to fight, then told him to catch some Z's. Before leaving, the master told him if he felt pain in the morning, it meant he had a solid night's sleep. Then he bounced, leaving the student to ponder. That night, Hanul struggled to sleep. His body was in agony. For some, this day was a bummer for our hero. Despite the pain, he finally caught some Z's. This nightmare routine lasted 4 days. After that, he hit the streets to see his progress. Kang Hanul went thug hunting. No time to check every corner, he stopped at one spot to scope it out. Hanul stood in front of King Billiards. These places were family fun zones, but this one was sketchy. Seeing all the thugs, our hero was shaking like a leaf. He knew if he couldn't beat someone here, he'd be toast against his next opponent, especially Kang Dai-chun. So, he looked for the biggest baddie. First guy was short. Second was tall and chubby, but no muscles. Just when he thought finding a redhead look-alike was impossible, a noise caught his attention. A tall, beefy dude threatened to beat up a high schooler if he cheated while he was in the bathroom. Boom, our hero found his match. Meanwhile, the high schooler told the guy he wouldn't mess with the number 3 regional player, who demanded a towel. The high schooler told his sidekick to fetch a towel. Tae-sik rushed but face-planted on the floor. He apologized for being late, then handed the towel over, but the big guy was silent, fuming that the towel hit the dirty floor. The boy was scared stiff. The man, holding a ball, thought the high schooler was mocking his title. Tae-sik begged for mercy, saying it wasn't true, but the big guy charged, saying he didn't care. Just as the high schooler's skull was about to meet a billiard ball, someone called his name. This shocked the number 3 regional player. Curious, Tae-sik turned to see who it was, shocked to find a classmate. The hero asked if the man was a scumbag, leaving everyone stunned. The big guy was annoyed by the cheeky newcomer. He yelled the room was full of twinks eager to meet their maker, blaming his towel fetcher for setting it up. But just as he was about to whack him with the ball, Tae-sik said the man was a bad apple, the worst of the worst. The punk was super ticked off by those insults. Then bam, something smacked him in the head. And guess what? It was our hero's glasses, flying like a boomerang. The big dude was now fuming, like a volcano ready to blow. Everyone was shook, turning to the culprit, who bragged about scoring a bullseye on the first try. The younger thug tried to step in, saying our hero was too much of a nobody to diss the big guy. For some reason, Kang Hanil thought the cue stick was moving in slow-mo. Sure, it had hit him, but he dodged it like a ninja and snatched it in a blink. With a solid grip on the stick, our hero yanked his enemy forward, and before the dude knew what hit him, he got a nose-crunching headbutt. Boom! The younger thug hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. Just as our hero was feeling all speedy and cool, a scary punch zoomed his way. Kang Ha-neul dodged at the last second, realizing that punch could have been game over, so he quickly decided to put some space between them, like social distancing but for punches. The young dude started hunting for a weak spot, knowing if he didn't find one, he was toast. Then he spotted something interesting, like a light bulb moment. Kang Ha-neul charged in after spotting the weak point, and just like that, it was on. While searching for a weak spot, he had a flashback of his training montage. He was wiped out, asking his master if this training would really help him beat someone bigger. The master said the opponent's weak spot would show up, but it was up to him to nail it. The training was all about making his punches faster, like turbo mode. Eventually, his punch would become a finishing move, boosting his win rate. With that, the boy finally got why he was training so hard. Kang Ha-neul wondered if guys like his opponent even had weak spots, and to his surprise, the master pointed to the knee. He said the knee muscles of a big dude, no matter how strong, are always stressed and could be taken out with one hit. In other words, a solid knee hit would open the door for a final blow. So, as our hero searched for a weak spot, he noticed something interesting. As his opponent was telling Tae-sik to move, Kang Ha-neul saw all his weight was on one leg, so he rushed in to take it down, like a game of Jenga. The chin was now wide open like a target. With that, our hero went for the knockout punch. At first, his opponent thought fists couldn't do much damage, but after feeling the punch, he realized he was wrong. Thanks to his training, Kang Ha-neul had a fist of iron, like a superhero. But to his shock, the guy didn't get knocked out like he expected. For the first time, the young man felt the fear of seasoned street fighters as his opponent tossed him aside to slam him into the table. Kang Ha-neul hit the ground, and as he tried to get up, his opponent said a kid, no matter how skilled, couldn't take on an adult. But our hero wasn't done yet. Then suddenly, someone yelled to get the guy's attention. It was Han Chul, reminding the guy of a promise to help whenever he asked, so he demanded to handle the intruder himself. The adult said he'd been insulted and couldn't just let it slide. So the redhead reminded him what would happen to his rep if people found out he had beef with a kid. Seeing this, the guy agreed to back off, saying our hero was lucky. With that, the guy decided to leave, handing the task to the high schooler. The two opponents were now face to face, like a showdown. Han Chul asked our hero to wait until the competition, saying he wanted his punching bag in perfect shape for their fight. And just like that, the fight was postponed. Later, on the dojo roof, Tae-sik asked Kang Ha-neul what changed him, noticing how different he seemed now. In that moment, the big loser admitted to the skinny one that he was jelly of him. Tae-sik spilled the beans that he wanted to fight too, but before he could finish, Kang Ha-neul jumped in, saying he must feel like a tiny ant. Our hero was like, "Same here, bro." He shared that he didn't dive into fighting because he was fearless, but because it made him forget how small he felt, even if just for a sec. Kang Ha-neul admitted he was having a hard time telling reality from his wild daydreams. Tae-sik then yelled at our hero for making him diss a gang member right to his face. Our hero was all puzzled as the other dude then begged for his protection. Tae-sik chilled out and said the boy must have gone through all this to save him, his buddy. Kang Ha-neul was like, "What on earth is happening?" Then, someone called our hero. It was his master, saying he needed some special training. So, all freaked out, he asked what was up. The drunk said the training was all about eating and sleeping a ton, then told him to hit the sack. Even though he was confused at first, Kang Ha-neul decided to follow his master's orders until the big day. And just like that, our hero spent 2 days doing almost nada until the epic match finally rolled around. As soon as the sun peeked out, it woke him up. The young dude, who hadn't trained since facing the gang guy, was shocked to feel anxious instead of scared. Right then, his punching bag yelled at him to hurry up. Kang Ha-neul quickly threw on his kicks, But as he dashed outside, saying sorry for being late, he spotted something wild. A gnarly scar was waiting for him out front. The master said his student was being cocky by being so late, as this one asked for the deets. Kang Yian was ticked that his master wanted to roll to the comp with his sparring buddy, even though he had the wheels. But the master said he had a solid reason. He picked the short student because his match was closer to home. So, the tall student, once they were out and in the car, said he should have at least gotten some tips. Only then did the master stop him from hopping in the car. Kang Yian couldn't help but grin, thinking his master wanted to wish him luck. But surprise, surprise. The drunk asked for a lift for him and his other student to their spot. And just like that, the two of them hopped in the car without even asking. Kang Hanul finally made it to the first match against Kang Dai-chun, and seeing the massive stadium, he started wondering how big the Saint League really is. He was trying hard not to let the emptiness get to him. The master explained it was all to avoid unnecessary injuries. In the first match, a bunch of punks were in the same spot and ended up brawling before their matches, with some even landing in the hospital. So, different matches would happen on the same day, but at different times, which is why no one was there yet. Our hero and his master were suddenly approached by someone. A staff member asked the high schooler if he was really the fighter they were waiting for, and as soon as he said yes, they asked him to cover his eyes. This was to stop the contestants from starting fights before hitting the ring. At that moment, the master told him to close his eyes before swapping his glasses for the band. Seeing how his inner thoughts would be tough to handle outside the ring, Kang Hanul said he gets anxious every time he loses his glasses, cause it makes him switch personalities. Before pointing out how weird the tourney rules were, the master warned to be super careful if he acted up, but the student said he could still tell friend from foe. This made the hero realize that at some point, the fights became more important than his goal, which filled him with anxiety, especially when facing strong opponents like the one ahead. Yet this anxiety came with a rush of excitement. The two contestants were now ready. The master found it super annoying that they wouldn't even let him in. Lee Ha-ru showed up, asking if she missed anything. Her uncle said they were about to kick off. The girls pointed out that loads of strong fighters had signed up in their district, making it way tougher to pass the prelims. She was totally shocked by Han Chul's size, which was way bigger than expected, while the master said they were in the same boat. The big dude asked the ref if they could start the fight. The ref, yawning, gave them the go-ahead. Lee Ha-ru thought the judge was super chill, so the master explained, these fights are usually packed with teens who scare their opponents with size. Since the heavier fighters usually win, the judge expected a certain outcome, which is why he was so relaxed. The judge turned to the redhead, urging him to end the fight quickly so they could all bounce. The big guy suddenly got punched in the face with a ton of force. The judge was shook. Even the master and his niece were stunned, seeing the muscular opponent of our hero caught off guard. At that moment, the elf thought all hope wasn't lost, while the drunk confirmed Han Chul wouldn't be taken down by one punch. Han Chul quickly got his balance back and was ready to counterattack. Han Chul praised our hero for being gutsy enough to attack him, only for the hero to charge ahead and knee him in the skull. Even his master couldn't believe the speed he gained after just 7 days of training. Mid-air, our protagonist wasn't done yet, as he stomped on his opponent. Seeing the action pause, the elf thought the skinny one had won, only for the master to say they might be seeing his defeat. Seeing Han Chul gripping Hanul's foot, Lee Ha-ru was horrified, thinking he was about to twist it. Han Chul told his opponent that no matter how scared he was, he couldn't continue the tournament if he lost a leg. Just as he decided to twist it, he was shocked by the skinny guy's counterattack, which he blocked at the last second. Seeing the elf's confusion, the master explained Hanul rotated with the twist to protect himself and counterattack. Han Chul realized he had to go all out, but just as he was about to grab the protagonist knew getting caught again meant defeat. He got off the big guy and put some distance between them. Hanul was surprised none of his attacks worked on his opponent. Han Chul praised the protagonist's speed, but said he had no chance of winning since finishing moves had no effect. Hanul realized his attacks didn't work, so he had to keep his distance, but running away would lead to defeat. So, only one good option was left. The drunk was stoked his student figured out the right way to win. With that in mind, he charged at his opponent again. His first punch was a fake, and the real attack was a powerful kick to the giant's knees. But this didn't bother Han Chul, who even cracked a smile. Han Chul told our protagonist again his attacks were useless before delivering a powerful blow. For some reason, our hero, who dodged it, felt like he was about to pass out. He got blasted away and almost hit the wall. Lee Ha-ru found it odd, as despite going for his opponent's knees in their first street fight, he tried it again, knowing it wouldn't work. Hanul said this was his only path to victory, as heavy fighters like his opponent were usually weak in the legs. But before he realized it, his opponent launched a counterattack. Hanul was grabbed by the shoulders. Han Chul lifted him high and slammed him into the ground. The impact was so strong it made our hero cough up blood. Han Chul said the weak, like our protagonist, shouldn't rise against his kind and should stay quiet and obedient. With that, he decided to deliver the final blow. Did he know everything went just as our wild hero had planned? So, Hanul decided to go for the sneaky move, targeting the one leg holding up his opponent like a wobbly Jenga tower. Han Chul was totally caught off guard, almost face-planting into the ground. As he got back up, he was all, "Pfft, that didn't even tickle." He called our hero a total noob and charged again, ready to end this fight once and for all. The elf was like, "Dude, get out of here before you get wrecked." The master was just standing there, totally mind blown. And then, as the young dude charged in, right when his opponent was about to land the final hit, the girl started to panic. The drunk guy was super curious. Han Chul suddenly felt something was off, like his legs were on vacation. In that split second, he wobbled, wide open for our hero's epic attack. Han Chul couldn't believe he was about to get owned by someone as skinny as Han Nul, right before getting socked in the face. The master and the elf were both like, "No way." Even the guy who got punched was in denial, as he finally hit the ground. Lee Ha-ru was baffled at how the hero found the perfect moment to strike. The drunk explained it was all about stacking up damage, but the elf was like, "Seriously? He was just standing tall." So the master compared him to a bridge that collapses over time. Like, even if a bridge can hold double its weight, it'll still crumble after enough damage. The dude's knee was already messed up, and he barely moved the whole fight. Finally, the girl got how our hero pulled off the win. Kang Ha-nul was all, "Yo, call it, I won." But the judge was like, "Not yet," as Han Chul grabbed his leg. Han Chul was all, "I can still fight, legs or no legs," as he grabbed our hero, swung him around, and slammed him down. Kang Ha-nul was in serious pain. Han Chul said our hero reminded him of those goody two-shoes who've never had a bad day, and as he went for a big punch, he said he hated those types. Fear hit our hero hard, but the master was like, "He's got more tricks up his sleeve." Hanul struck the leg again, causing major pain. The punch missed the head and hit the shoulder instead. Lee Ha-ru was shocked as our hero went for the giant's other weak spot. He seized the moment, and before the opponent could react, he got a sneaky slap to the head. The master said no matter how strong you get, some spots can't be trained, like the ear. Han Chul realized he was dizzy and lost his balance. To snap out of it, he bit his lip hard, inflicting so much pain on himself that he shook off the ear shock. Then he saw his opponent was in a tricky spot. Time for the real final blow. The young dude unleashed a killer kick, and Han Chul had no way to block it, getting slammed in the head. He took massive damage. The giant couldn't believe he was getting schooled by someone half his size, before finally hitting the ground. And just like that, Han Chul was down for the count. Defeated, he was totally paralyzed. In that moment, the giant realized if all he had was raw power, he wasn't a real thug. Only then did his opponent come over, but before he could set Han Chul straight, he just couldn't hold it in anymore. In the end, he couldn't reveal he didn't have a normal upbringing. And boom, our hero just face-planted onto the ground. With both contestants totally out of it, the judge, who was totally shook by this wild match, finally threw his hand up to make the big announcement. Just like that, our hero's first match was a wrap. But thanks to this match, Han Nul got some unwanted clout. Later, when the video hit social media, a dude with a ton of tattoos was super ticked off. He called out his sidekick for trusting Han Chul, who went down cause of his legs. The thug was all sorry boss, since their Kanghan Crew's fighter was out of the tournament, making them a total joke. The guy begged for mercy while the boss was all, "This is a major L for our biz." Another sorry from the thug. Then he mentioned the Hua Ryong Crew's fighter who leveled up to champ status while waving a golf club, saying that crew must be cracking up at them right now. The boss then demanded someone be brought to him. The thug was all confused, but the boss was like, "I want to meet the high schooler who KO'd our fighter, ASAP, before giving the guy a whack with the golf club." Later that day, at a bus stop, the bus finally rolled up and inside were our hero and the elf. Hanul was all sorry to Lee Ha-ru, cause the master made her tag along. The elf was like, "Can't leave a battle crazy dude like you unsupervised." Then bam, the young dude's shoulder was hit with mega pain. The girl said the pain would stick around, cause his shoulder took a major hit, and he should chill till the next match. Soon, the bus hit its next stop. People started piling in. Our hero was all curious as more and more folks crammed in. And just like that, the bus was packed to the max. Our hero tried his best to hang on. His face was super close to the girl, but the crowd made it way harder. In the end, his hurt shoulder was done, but his pride was like, "Hang in there, dude." Then the girl noticed how much pain he was in, so she told him to stop using his shoulder and to let go of the bar. With that, the young dude had nothing to hold on to and got squished against his friend by the crowd. Kang Ha-neul couldn't believe the sitch he was in. He quickly said sorry to the girl for squishing her, blaming the crowded bus. But when he tried to move away, she stopped him, saying she didn't mind the close quarters. The elf wanted to save her friend's shoulder, and with no room to argue, they spent the whole ride squished together. Later that night at the gang hand night, after a quick phone chat, it was clear the boss was super mad. He called out the guy who picked the wrong fighter for letting a traitor in. He said his chosen left-hand man shouldn't be causing so much drama. The thug begged for forgiveness again, saying he'd find a new fighter to make up for the loss. But just as the boss was about to smack him, saying the choice was final, someone strolled into the office and said, "Hey, this guy told the boss to chill out, cause he was getting too old for this and should just relax." The boss said the traitor would have time for the Hua Riang crew, who got even more cocky after he left. The traitor told his old boss not to mess with him unless he wanted to get wrecked by his new squad. Hearing this, the beat-up thugs yelled at him for being so cocky. The traitor told his old pals to chill, saying he just came to say hi since his new office would be nearby. The boss called him nuts for forgetting what happens when you mess with his turf, but the traitor said the power of his new crew was well known, and he loved watching the ST League match since they were the only crew not to get their fighter past the prelims. With that, the gangsters were left fuming. Alright, buckle up, cause here's the remix. So, this sneaky dude just dipped, promising he'd swing by again, and told the boss to quit the biz cause he was washed up. As soon as he bounced, the boss, who was trying to keep his cool, just couldn't hold it in anymore. He went full Hulk on his desk, smashing it to bits. His left-hand guy was shook, like, "Whoa, boss is jacked." The boss wanted the 411 on the high schooler who KO'd their crew. His freaked-out sidekick said he couldn't find him, even after checking his school and crib. Hearing this, the boss was like, "Why'd I hire this clown as my left-hand man?" He thought life might be chill if he ditched this useless dude. The guy started begging for another shot, saying he found a new lead on the kid. He said he tracked down the hero's buddy, Lee Haru, and promised to bring Ha-neul in ASAP. Next day, Lee Haru was strolling down the street. She had this weird vibe about the day but decided to shake it off. Later at the dojo, the elf told her friend he ranked number 2 in their district after his match. She said things would change now that he's in the top 32, but our hero was stressing about his shoulder being a problem. Lee Haru said the master assured him his shoulder would bounce back after some chill time. With that, she headed out. But just as she warned him about his shoulder, bam, giant hands grabbed her out of nowhere. The gang finally found their target, and he was freaked seeing his friend in trouble. The thugs said they'd been hunting for the kid forever. Then he tossed his glasses away. One thug caught them, curious, but before he knew it, he got neck-punched hard. Boom, first goon down. The second one didn't even blink before the hero was in his face. Kang Ha-neul took down every hand that dared touch the elf, proving he was number 2 for a reason. With that, 2 gang members were down, but before our hero could catch his breath, an armed thug blindsided him. He got hit in his hurt shoulder, and the pain was intense. He dropped to the ground screaming. The bad guy was loving it. He decided to humble the kid by kicking him so hard in the head he flew into the couch. The girl was terrified seeing her friend get wrecked. Just like that, the kid was out cold, and the gang nabbed him and his friend. Meanwhile, at Thug HQ, the boss got a call. He picked up fast. It was one of his goons asking what to do with the captured kid. The boss said Kang Ha-neul needed to pay for taking out their contestant's leg. Now the goons knew what to do. As the call ended, someone rolled up to the boss. This guy wanted to know why his right-hand man was there. He said he heard about the left-hand guy's epic fail and thought he should be punished. The boss said if he messed up again, he'd be toast. The sun was setting, and the night was creeping in. Later, in a sketchy warehouse, the thugs gathered. After snagging the high schooler, the adult wanted to use him for his own gain. He said because of the hero's win, their crew lost big bucks, and his life was on the line. The boss only wanted one leg broken, but the guy wanted more. At that moment, our hero spoke up. Kang Ha-neul hinted it was lame to drag an innocent girl into his mess. Hearing this, the guy cracked up. He said he felt zero shame keeping girls as prisoners. He tried to school the high schooler, saying gangsters like him always think they're above the rules, and they only feel that way when they're the most feared. With that, he swung his massive hammer with all his might, aiming right for the high schooler's noggin. When it hit, it did some serious damage. Our hero asked the dude if he wanted to keep his honor by letting the girl go. The guy just laughed, saying there's no shame in keeping a girl prisoner. After explaining why gangsters feel untouchable because everyone fears them, he swung his hammer again with all his strength. But when someone mentioned 20 billion won, he switched targets real quick. The girl was freaked out. The strike was so strong but missed her friend by a hair. Hearing those words totally stunned him. He turned to the girl, asking how she could possibly give him that much cash. Lee Haru even said they could offer an even bigger amount, and the only way was to pick the protagonist as their champion. This shocked our hero and the gang member big time. The left hand said it was impossible since their real contestant was out. Then a goon said it might work since they didn't officially register Han Chul. The guy even said it might be their only shot to survive this mess. Still, the mafioso refused, saying someone with a busted shoulder had no future in the tournament. Then the goon freaked out, seeing the big boss was calling. Seeing this, he pushed the left arm to decide. The guy panicked, knowing the boy couldn't recover for his next match, only for the elf to promise it was possible. And as his subordinate pushed him more, he couldn't take it and grabbed the giant hammer. In the heat of the moment, he made his final call. For the mafia guy, this choice was life or death, even if he might regret it. Meanwhile, in a hospital, after finishing tests, the man asked the patient how he felt. Checking his results, Kang Yian said he felt like he was at his peak. The glasses guy said he wouldn't need oxygen capsules or stem cells until he hit level 1 champion. The boy said he didn't want them and told the guy to return them to his grandpa. Hearing this, the man said the stem cell took a year to make and they decided to use it wisely. But the martial artist didn't care, wanting to stay all natural. Then he got a call. Kang Yi-an quickly answered. Learning the girl's address was found, he was stoked and rushed out. He told the man he had to go somewhere ASAP. Before leaving, he asked if the capsule really had bruise treatment. When the man confirmed, Kang Yi-an snatched it. The man tried to stop him as he ran out, telling him to inform his grandpa he took the treatment. But he failed. Elsewhere that night, at the thug hideout, the boss on the phone was eager for his left arm's report. But he didn't get the news he wanted. Hearing what his left arm said, the boss burst out laughing. He said his subordinate had finally lost it, leading himself to doom by picking the injured boy as their champion. After hanging up, the boss said if the protagonist lost even once, he'd end his life, and his left arm's too. He then trusted his right arm to handle it. This one was excited for it. The next day at school, our hero's friends gathered around him. Tae-sik panicked, seeing how scared people were of the protagonist, especially since he was hurt. The girl urged the protagonist to keep his platter safe until she found a way to reach him before the next match. Ha-nul called out the girl for making him the mafia champ with a busted shoulder, which could totally get them both KO'd. Tae-sik was like, "Yo, stop ignoring me. Hide that injury ASAP or those thugs will make me their puppet again." Then, ding dong, the bell rang. Lee Haru told the main dude to hit the dojo fast while she figured out how to fix his shoulder, leaving him all curious. She promised she had a buddy who could pull off the impossible. Later that day, Kang Yi-an stood at the right spot. He was sure he was in the right place but was puzzled because the girl was a no-show. He started thinking about what to say when, boom, she showed up. As Seung-na got closer, the martial arts pro started to seriously freak out. So he tried to chill to nail it. Kang Yi-an, scared of being ghosted again, decided to kick off the convo with something cool. He moved quick, seeing the girl almost at the door. The dude dashed towards her. He was set on getting her attention using his master's wisdom. And when she saw him, she stopped in her tracks. Kang Yi-an was speechless. He struggled to talk, and as she was about to bounce, he dropped the bomb that he was super rich. He felt a bit awkward, doubting his tipsy teacher's advice. The girl just walked off, calling him a dummy. Kang Yi-an got ticked off. He told her he was the real fool his counselor said he was. He admitted he was clueless about showing feelings because he grew up in a loveless home. So he decided to show love with a gift. Kang Yi-an offered Seung-na a capsule to heal his heart if he got sick again. But just as he was about to hand it over, it got snatched. The thief bolted like lightning. Kang Yi-an chased him desperately, but he couldn't catch up or even see the thief's face. Then the department called him. They wanted to know about the treatment, and before he could explain, he was stunned to learn it was made just for him and was toxic for anyone else. He yelled they should have warned him sooner since he almost gave it to an innocent girl. Meanwhile, at the dojo, where our hero was snoozing, the sneaky thief crept up with a needle. After clearing the air bubbles, he quietly injected the stuff into the boy. The thief was stoked with his sneaky move. Then, someone spotted him. The thief got nabbed by none other than the alpha self. She demanded to know who he was and why he was there. But when she unmasked him, she was shocked to see it was Tae-sik. Then she noticed something wild. The girl was on high alert, seeing a needle and solution on the floor. Lee Haru couldn't believe the mess the loser made. He said it was a necessary evil to heal the hero. Tae-sik revealed the Huingsung Group's head department was trying to reach anyone close to the chairman's grandson. Back then, they said they needed to stop the treatment before he gifted it. Tae-sik asked about the treatment's deal. They told him it was a super powerful formula, tough to make, healing almost all human cells. But before they could warn him about the downsides, he hung up. So, scared of being thug bait again, he risked it all to get the antidote. The elf said it was pure evil, as the treatment might end the hero's life. Then, this dude starts screaming like a banshee, cause the solution's spreading all over him, leaving his buddy totally freaked out. That night at the hospital, everyone was huddled around the capsule. Inside was our knocked-out, battle-crazy maniac. Kang Yi-an was all over Tai-sik for what he did, but Tai-sik was like, "Chill, I was just trying to help." The man told the young master to stay cool, cause their company could get hit hard by this mess. If the kid bites the dust, an investigation could trace back to them, trashing their rep forever. So, it was super important to get the young dude back on his feet. Lee Ha-ru wanted to know if the oxygen capsule was the real deal. These capsules were used by Looney, the Britannian athlete, to double his recovery speed, and this one was twice as fast as his. The man said they did everything they could to heal the kid, and now it was all about good vibes and prayers. Whatever happened, they'd know by the next day for sure. As the sun came up at the hospital, Tae-sik spent the whole night there, just him and his guilt. Meanwhile, in our hero's room, a nurse came to check on him. She spotted something wild, peeked inside the capsule, and freaked out, calling the doc ASAP. Kang Ha-nul was gone from the capsule. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, in a tiny alley with a food stand, thugs were shaking down the owner, but he begged them to back off. The punk said he couldn't do business on their turf without paying up. The guy argued the daily fee they wanted was 4 times what he made in a day. When he wouldn't pay, they decided to teach him a lesson. But just as a thug was about to smack the old man, someone called out. The punks were confused when a small high schooler in pajamas stood in their way. They knew him as a hospital patient, but when one told him to scram unless he had cash for the old man, he charged and snapped the guy's arm in a flash. The punk screamed in pain. Another tried to hit him with a chair, but the high schooler was lightning fast, breaking the other thug's leg. Seeing this, the third one was freaked out but went for it anyway. Just as the metal baton was about to hit our hero's head, he grabbed it, spun like a dancer, and gave them a run for their money. Number 4 rushed in with a knife, but as the high schooler was about to get stabbed, he used his quick reflexes to smash the thug's hand with the metal bar. Now, only one punk was left. He was terrified, seeing his friends defeated in seconds, all screaming in pain. The thug couldn't wrap his head around it as the pajama-wearing madman grinned at him, but just as he started begging for mercy, backup showed up. The punk ran, telling his friends to handle the attacker. They all charged at him, only to be stopped by a whistle. The thugs thought the cops were there and bolted. As the whistle got closer, all the thugs ran off. Then, only one guy appeared. The whistle owner wasn't a cop. Just like that, Tae-sik used a clever trick to scare the thugs away. He told his friend they had to get back to the hospital, where everyone was waiting. Later that day, on a chill hilltop, Tae-sik pointed out how the treatment had changed his friend. Just then, someone came zooming in on a fighter. It was the elf, worried about him. Kang Ha-nul said he woke up in a weird place and thought it was smart to escape right away. Right then, he got a surprise when the girl grabbed his shoulder. Lee Ha-ru wanted to check if he was hurting, but just as the dude tried to say he was all good, his legs decided to take a nap. Kang Ha-nul was struggling to stay upright. Seeing this, his buddy asked if he was really okay, so our hero thought about how he was running on empty. At that moment, Lee Ha-ru realized the doc was spot on about her friend who wanted to throw down the next day, and just like that, our heroes were in a real jam. Later that night near a motel, when asked if he found someone to beat Kang Ha-nul, the guy said he locked in the region's top dog, and seeing how their fighter had been leveling up this whole time, it was clear he was now a total beast mode. Back at the hospital, Ha-nul finally got a regular room. Lee Ha-ru told the doc he was right about Ha-nul losing steam, so he spilled that he'd only get better based on their tests. Tae-sik got worried and asked if his friend's life was at risk. So, the doc explained how the body has a mental block to protect itself during tough times. The treatment turned off this block for our hero, giving him super strength and healing, but it zapped his stamina, and when the doc said some body functions might shut down, the teens were all ears. So he broke it down for them, literally. Tae-sik begged the doc for a way to help Kang Ha-nul bounce back, so the doc revealed they expected these side effects and whipped up an antidote. And as long as the main dude takes it, he'd live longer, but lose his super strength. Kang Ha-nul, curious if he had to take them daily, was told to rely on these pills until a cure pops up. The doc stressed it was crucial for the boy to take his pills every day. Later that night, Tae-sik was puzzled seeing his friends hit the dojo instead of chilling before the big match. Kang Ha-nul said they needed to meet a coach set up by their new buddy, the gang member. Tae-sik wondered who was so important they'd meet him at this hour, but later, seeing him, the boy was shook. Tae-sik thought the coach was here for payback, since it was none other than our hero's old rival. Ha-nul was stoked to see the mafia's left arm didn't fib. Han-chul said he didn't expect the boy to step up as the gang's rep after what happened to his leg. Ha-nul said it wasn't on purpose and wanted to ask the big guy something. Our hero wanted to know why his punches were so weak. This question caught Han-chul off guard. The main dude explained that even with all his strength, his punches did nothing, feeling like an egg against a boulder. But as the redhead said, the hero's metaphor was spot on, feeling like a flying egg hitting a rock. He asked him to explain more. Han Chul said it was all about footwork. He explained that something thrown in the air can't use all its power. It's like two punching machines, one stuck to the ground and the other on wheels. The one stuck would stay put even after going full power, while the one on wheels would roll back from the hit. During their fight, all the hero's punches were airborne, while he could have used a kick that might have left him open. The young dude was shocked his master didn't tell him this crucial info, so the elf said it wouldn't have helped, as she thought he lacked skills. Hanul was curious to hear this. Han Chul explained the hero should have used skills to beat someone like him, but he made up for it with speed. Hanul was all about finding a sneaky way to win, knowing surprise was his secret weapon. So the thug spilled the beans, saying there might be a way to win based on past fights, but it was risky business. And just like that, Han Chul dropped this new trick on Hanul. Next day, at the gangsters' hideout, the left and right arms were chilling face to face. Everything was set for the epic showdown. The right arm told the left one that the boss was a fan, which is why he hadn't been kicked out yet. But if his champ lost, he'd be out of a job for sure. Hearing this, the left arm dared the right one to bet his title to keep things spicy. The right arm's sidekick got all riled up, but was quickly shut down. Then someone piped up, saying it was a genius idea. The boss agreed, saying the bet would make the match way more epic. At that moment, the right arm announced the match had kicked off, but what they saw on TV had everyone gasping. The left arm was shook, thinking the match ended as soon as it started. Earlier that day, Han Chul and Hanul were face to face at the dojo. Oh, the hero asked his new coach if his moves were actually going to work. Han Chul said the only way to win was to trust his feet. So, as the hero asked for his teacher, the big guy was intrigued. He told the young dude to keep his previous attitude. Han Chul said in their last two fights, Hanul was like a wild beast, but that fire vanished from his eyes. Our hero spilled the beans to the big guy that his personality flips when he loses his glasses. At school, the only way to beat up bullies without shaking was to ditch the specs first. Han Chul was baffled that the kid turned into a beast when his vision blurred. Hearing this, our hero realized how wild his situation sounded. Hanul said he needed to apologize to someone, but to do that, he had to gain the upper hand for her. He then got back on track and asked the big guy if his moves would work, given their limited training. So, Han Chul said they'd find out when the match began. Meanwhile, at the gangsters club, the left and right arm were ready for the match, and the right arm reminded the left one he was alive thanks to the boss's mercy. But if his champ failed, he'd be toast. Hearing this, the left arm dared the right one to bet his title on the match. The right arm quickly calmed his sidekick. Then someone thought the idea was pretty cool. The boss said the bet would make the match more thrilling. At that moment, our hero's fight began. What the gangsters saw on screen left them all stunned. Everyone watched as our hero's opponent slammed him into the ground, causing major pain. This tall dude was all about showing off his strength. Seeing this, Kang Ha-Nul's friends couldn't believe it, thinking the hero had lost, seeing him unable to move. The judge was about to declare the tall guy the winner, but then the one on the ground started yelling. Ha-Nul managed to get back up, gasping for air. After thanking the sponge, he realized his opponent was out for blood. The young man was shocked as the beast charged again. The tall guy tried to land a knockout punch, but our hero dodged and created some space. Hanul barely had time to breathe before getting kicked in the chest. Our hero was sent flying to the ground. He struggled to get back up as his opponent enjoyed the show. The protagonist was barely standing and almost out of breath. His hands were shaking. Actually, his whole body was trembling. This epic fail got caught on camera. No cap. Tae-sik thought the main dude was KO'd since he wasn't even trying to defend himself. Lee Ha-Ru was all, if he doesn't block, he's toast. Tae-sik then looked at the big dude who supposedly helped him train. Han Chul said something felt sus, like Kang Ha-Nul was up against a beast. Then they all noticed something wild. They got spooked by a bunch of thugs popping up out of nowhere. Han Chul said things would get messy if Ha-Nul couldn't snag the win. Meanwhile, back at the brawl, the beast was ready to finish it and charged for one last hit. But just as he was about to land the final punch, the main dude made his move, and something insane happened. Gasping for air and shaking, it seemed like our hero was out of juice. This was going live to everyone watching. Tae-sik said the main dude must have blacked out, while the elf said he needed to block to save himself. Then the trio saw something crazy as a gang of thugs spawned right next to them. Han Chul said their win totally hinged on this fight. Meanwhile, at the Thug HQ, the boss was watching the fight with her right and left hand peeps. One goon said Hanul stopped defending, meaning the fight was already decided. The right-hand dude grinned and gave the nod. His guy rushed to grab the left one. The dude then asked the boss if he could handle the flop and his champ personally. But the boss stayed quiet. Then, the gang member and the three high schoolers thought they lost the game. Back at the fight, as the beast was ready to land the final punch to end our hero, just before his fist could hit, Hanul dodged and threw a quick punch, then went for a counterattack. After planting his foot, Hanul put all his power into one punch that caught the opponent off guard, and just like that, he dropped a punch so strong it left the beast stunned. Seeing this, everyone was totally shook, and just like that, the epic punch landed. The beast took a massive hit to the face. Our hero's punch was so strong it sent him flying into the glass window. The three high schoolers watching from outside were blown away. After seeing the beast was down, the teens took a sec to process the epic win before going wild. Meanwhile, at Thug HQ, the right-hand dude couldn't believe what just went down. Then, the boss explained Hanul was taking hits on purpose. This ticked off the number 2, as his champ shouldn't have been taken down by a small fry. The boss couldn't help but grin, saying it was his first time seeing someone as tough as Kang Hanul, then noticed his right-hand dude was salty about their champ's win, so he told him to honor the bet he made with the left-hand dude. Back to the high schoolers, Tae-sik was stoked to see Han Chul's training paying off. The big guy said it seemed like the main dude was predicting the attacks, so the nerd said it was thanks to his golden sight. Han Chul said their plan to take hits until the opponent was open shouldn't have worked against such a beast. He was also curious since the main dude should have been fighting with a hurt shoulder, then got confused when Tae-sik took credit for the recovery. He was super happy since his friend's win meant his days as a thug servant were over, but the elf seemed worried. She said something felt off since the judge hadn't declared the main dude's win yet. Both Tae-sik and Han Chul were shook. Inside the fighting arena, our hero's gasping for air like he's just run a marathon. His opponent's down for the count, or so it seems. The judge is giving him that "what's next" look. Then, he tells the beast to hop back in the ring or face elimination. Hanul's jaw drops. The beast? Oh, he's fuming now. Our hero's brain screaming danger if the beast gets back up. And guess what? That's exactly what happens. The beast, ticked off from getting hit, decides our hero's gotta pay, and not with Monopoly money. He smashes the camera in a fit of rage. Then, he launches at our hero, and it's like a horror movie. Blood everywhere, screams echoing. The high schoolers, total panic mode, cause they can't see the rest of the fight. Sirens blare, an ambulance rolls up, and Lee Ha-ru's freaking out. Later at the hospital, outside the operating room, the judge and 3 high schoolers are on edge. Lee Ha-ru asks the judge what went down. The judge spills the tea. After the beast smashed the camera, his opponent was toast. The beast spots a camera leg, picks it up, and the judge is like, "No way, that's against the rules." But the beast? He doesn't care. He's out for blood. He lifts the adult like he's a rag doll, tosses him across the room. Now, it's just the beast and our hero. The judge can't stop it, and the beast attacks Kang Hanul with the stick. Blood's everywhere. Tae-sik asks how bad it is, and a voice says it's way more than a scratch. Everyone's begging the doc for news, and he says he's done all he can. He suggests they go see the fighter themselves. So, in the intensive care room, the teens see their friend in the hospital bed. Lee Ha-ru's so shocked, she hits the floor. Tae-sik asks about the injury, and the doc says it's way more than a scratch. Everyone's desperate for an update. The doc says there's not much to do, and leads them to the intensive room. They see the hospital bed, and the teens are floored. Can't even recognize their friend. Lee Ha-ru collapses. Tae-sik turns to the judge, who says their friend lost a lot of blood. But the judge, thinking they're the beast's pals, says he didn't mention an injury. The boys can't believe it. The judge explains that when the beast charged, he passed out after coughing blood. Tae-sik thinks it's from Kang Ha-nul's punch, but the doc says nope. It's about substances. Tae-sik's confused, but Han Chul says it explains the weird vibe. The doc says the beast took too many strength boosters and his body couldn't handle it. Lee Ha-ru asks about Kang Ha-nul, who's MIA. Meanwhile, someone eavesdropping bolts. He finds his buddy and tells him after the screen went blank, he pretended to check the signal to leave the boss's office. He warns if the left arm finds out the champ actually won, they're in deep trouble. But the right arm says they gotta chill till things cool down, and the sidekick realizes there's a plan brewing. But when he hit him, the dude was all, "If the kid vanishes, poof, all our probs are gone." Left the guy totally shook. He told the right-hand dude that messing with the champ would bring the boss's fury, big time. Turns out, the gang's number 2 wasn't about to get his hands dirty. Right-hand dude dialed up someone, spilling that they weren't the only ones gunning for the main guy. The dude on the phone got told to head to Han-nul's spot and do whatever to embarrass the Kang Han crew. The sidekick was like, "Whoa, boss is calling that shady dude?" After getting these wild orders, the traitor who ditched the Kang Han crew was kinda hyped. Meanwhile, the 3 teens were like, "Something's off here," said the elf. She was all, "Hanul running into a juiced-up fighter? No way, that's random." From what he heard, Han Chul asked Lee Ha-ru if she thought someone was out to mess with Hanul. Tae-sik was like, "Dude's probably knocked out cold back at the arena." Lee Ha-ru was on a mission, calling for backup and even dialing 911. Han-chul was like, if someone's after him, they're already on the move. And just like that, the trio was hoping for a taxi, praying they wouldn't be too late. Back at the fight spot, our hero was still KO'd on the floor. Kang Ha-nul was totally out. But then, someone spotted him from outside the room. That person grabbed the handle and swung the door open. It was Seung-na, the girl who kicked off our hero's quest. She freaked out hearing voices down the hall. She saw a weight rack and used it to block the door. Just like that, no one could get in. In that split second, the dude woke up. His head was pounding, wondering how long he'd been out. With chaos around him, he realized he couldn't move. Kang Ha-nul saw a shadowy figure nearby. He struggled to stay awake. In the end, a hand gently landed on his shoulder, leaving him super confused. Meanwhile, in the taxi, Tae-sik was like, "Step on it, dude." But the driver was like, "I'm already flooring it, sit down." The elf was praying the main guy was okay, then got a call from Kang Yeon. She picked up, asking if he'd found the main dude. Everyone was on edge as the boy spilled the tea to the girl. Seeing Lee Ha-ru's face after the call, Tae-sik got nervous and asked if the main guy was alright. She ignored him and told the driver to head to Hyun-sung Hospital. The taxi driver was like, "On it." Later at the hospital, Kang Ha-nul and Lee Ha-ru were face to face. The main dude was all, "Sorry for the drama." The elf was like, "No biggie, did anyone mess with you?" He told her about the bullies and how he was frozen, then woke up to a gentle hand on his shoulder. Kang Ha-nul was shocked the medics got there in time. Soon after, our hero was at the hospital, still unsure if someone really tried to get him. Lee Ha-ru said he should chill at the hospital to stay safe, adding the doc said he'd need time to bounce back. She was like, "Where's Tae-sik?" For some reason, when Tae-sik heard Ha-nul was okay, he bailed and hadn't come back. Ha-nul told the elf she could leave, not wanting to bug her. But Lee Ha-ru was like, "No way, I worry too much about you." And just like that, the sun dipped below the horizon. A bit later, in a sketchy street, Tae-sik was stoked to see Seung-na had read his message. The young dude was the one who tipped off the girl about where the main guy was and what kind of mess he was in. So he dashed off to meet her, all pumped up thinking his big confession was going to be a win tonight, only to see something that made him shake like a leaf. Tae-sik couldn't believe his eyes. He bolted into a tiny alley, hiding and panting like he'd just run a marathon. Fear totally took over his brain as a terrifying threat crept closer. Even after the monster passed by without spotting him, the dude was still sweating buckets and shaking like a leaf. He couldn't wrap his head around seeing this particular person, who was none other than Kang Dae-chun. With that, the guy started freaking out because the predator was clearly after the girl, so he scrambled to call Seung-na to warn her. He even started praying she'd pick up, but no luck. Seeing this, he decided to warn the hero instead. Tae-sik was practically begging for this one to answer his phone. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, as the hero's phone buzzed, he couldn't pick it up, being stuck in the oxygen capsule. Seeing nothing was working, Tae-sik sprinted through the night. He was freaking out that no one was picking up his calls. The cops he'd called to check on the girl would leave if nothing seemed wrong, so if she was with the predator somewhere else, things could get ugly. So, the dude rushed to find the one in danger. Soon after, as Seung-na strolled down the street, Tae-sik finally spotted her, but he wasn't the only one who found the girl. As soon as the monster showed up, the dude quickly hid, terrified. He nearly jumped out of his skin when his phone rang, so he scrambled to silence it before he got busted. At that moment, he thought he was a goner. But after a brief pause, Tae-sik mustered all his courage to sneak a peek. What he saw next blew his mind, as Seung-na and Kang Dae-chun were nowhere in sight. Only then did a voice come from his phone. Kang Ha-nul wanted to know if Tae-sik was for real about saving Seung-na before, and if she was really being hunted by Kang Dae-chun now. Meanwhile, not far away, Seung-na was heading home. Suddenly, she got the chills. She stopped in her tracks, sensing danger creeping up. She turned and was horrified to see Kang Dae-chun right there. Just like that, her scream pierced the night. Meanwhile, at the hospital, a patient dashed out with no shoes on. As he sprinted like his life depended on it, our hero was praying he'd make it in time, only to faceplant. Kang Ha-nul was super worried about his friend. Meanwhile, the friend was down on her knees. Kang Dae-chun apologized for not showing up sooner, saying he had some business to handle. He said he still regretted letting her slip away before. And so the thug moved toward the girl to finish what he started. But as Seung-na started to scream, something unexpected went down. Someone was stepping in to stop Kang Dae-chun, and it was none other than Kang Yi-an. The dude then coolly sized up the situation, and seeing the girl shaking in fear, he asked if the bully had hurt her. Kang Yi-an tried to calm Seung-na, saying she'd be safe with him, only to suddenly feel on edge. The kind guy rushed to block the thug's punch. Even though he reacted in time, Kang Yi-an still took a big hit. Kang Dai-chun said that for some weird reason, Seung-na was always surrounded by idiots. So he told her he'd give Kang Yi-an the same fate as Hanyul. The dude seemed out of it. Seung-na was sweating bullets, and just when it looked like the punch would land, Kang Yi-an dodged it just in time, using the momentum to launch a counter punch that hit the opponent in the back. Just like that, he managed to land a hit on Kang Dae-chun. The young dude was praying hard that his attack would do the trick, cause his knee, messed up from his last match, was starting to scream. But, plot twist, Kang Dae-chun caught himself just in time. The bully grabbed the dude's arm. He braced himself, ready to throw a punch that seemed impossible to dodge. As these two martial arts legends duked it out, Seung-na was rambling like a YouTube comment section. Right then, Kang Yi-an blocked the punch like a pro. Even though her protector was holding strong, the girl was shaking like a leaf in a windstorm. Seeing this, the dude knew he had to get her to safety first to focus on this tough opponent. So, he switched to kicks. Even though Kang Dae-chun blocked it, the kick was so strong it sent him flying into the wall. Kang Yi-an rushed to pin him down, and after locking him in place, he told the girl to run like the wind, but she just stood there. The dude said he couldn't hold him much longer. Seung-na was trying her best, but fear had her legs stuck like glue. Still, she was doing her best to make a run for it. She was inching towards the exit. Kang Yi-an's knees were about to give up from the pain, and as she passed him and his opponent, he felt relieved there were only a few steps left before she was safe. But when someone called her name, Seung-na froze again. Kang Dae-chun had told her she couldn't leave until he was done with her. At that moment, he finally broke free from the wall. The bully noticed his opponent's knees were hurting. Right then, Kang Yi-an told Seung-na to run as fast as she could. With that, the thug launched his counterattack, starting with a kick that knocked the dude off his feet. It was so strong it slammed him into the wall. The pain was so bad Kang Yi-an couldn't move his legs. The thug wasn't done. He gathered his strength for a big stomp. Kang Yi-an watched in horror as Dae-chun broke his leg, making him scream in pain. Just like that, Kang Yi-an's knee was dislocated. Now with the main obstacle down, nothing was stopping Kang Dae-chun from grabbing Seung-na. But just as he was about to, something stopped him. The bully turned around to find his one-legged opponent clinging to his leg. This intrigued Kang Dae-chun, who asked why he was doing this, only for him to say he finally got why Seung-na wouldn't talk to him. This made the bully realize the dude was ready to sacrifice his leg for this girl. And as he told her to run, Kang Dae-chun agreed to give him the heroic end he wanted. He started by stomping his head into the ground, but seeing he still had fight left, he decided to break his arm. Kang Yi-an couldn't hold back his screams of pain. The entertained bully said his efforts were pointless, as he claimed the girl as his obedient slave. But just as he rushed at her, demanding she submit, he screamed in pain. Kang Yi-an was biting Dae-chun, hoping to buy time for her to escape. The bully couldn't take it anymore and spotted some bricks nearby, deciding to teach the dude a lesson. Kang Dae-chun was mad that his opponent was doing all this for a girl who couldn't even run away, so he decided to smash his head with a brick, and just like that, blood went everywhere. Kang Yi-an was shocked by what he saw, as Seung-na had jumped in at the last second to hit the bully in the head. That hit to the back of the skull seemed to do some serious damage. Seeing the girl finally overcome her fear, Kang Yi-an couldn't believe his eyes. And as the bully was about to hit the ground, he prayed for him to pass out, but then saw him catch himself at the last second. The young dude was left totally horrified. Kang Dae-chun was totally raging. Seeing this, Kang Yi-an was all, "Run, girl, run." Meanwhile, our hero was sprinting down the street, barefoot, hoping his squad was safe. This time, he was dead set on getting back at Kang Dae-chun. But more than anything, he wanted his friend safe. And just like that, he zoomed through the night. Back at the scene, the girl was stuck with the bully. He said Seung-na and Kang Dae-chun must have a shared death wish before smacking the girl and knocking her to the ground. Right then, the bully jumped on top of her. He was ready to teach her a lesson for being sassy. Kang Yi-an was freaking out, begging him to stop. But just as Kang Dae-chun was about to hit Seung-na, a sudden noise stopped him and put him on high alert. Our hero was running like the wind, praying his friend was okay. He was itching to find Kang Dae-chun and keep Seung-na safe. Just like that, he dashed through the night. Kang Dae-chun had already taken down his two foes. He said they must want to go down together before slapping the girl hard, making her fall on her back. And just like that, he got on top of her, leaving screams echoing in the night. Back to our hero, as he zoomed around the area, he suddenly heard some quiet screams, but when he tried to follow them, he hit a dead end again. Then he heard another noise and rushed to check it out. With that, Kang Ha-neul found the right spot, and what he saw next was a shocker. The person in front of him was none other than Tae-sik. The boy said he tricked the bully with a whistle to make him scram. Our hero immediately asked about the girl, and his friend said she wasn't too bad and he'd already called for help. Kang Ha-neul was boiling with rage and couldn't hold it in anymore. Our hero demanded to know where the big bad was before charging into the night to find him. Then suddenly, someone called him. It was his beat-up sparring buddy. Kang Ha-neul was surprised to see him too. Kang Yeon warned him he couldn't take on Kang Dae-chun alone, especially like this. But the blood-covered hero didn't care. He was all about revenge. And just like that, he started searching for the opponent twice his size. Kang Yeon told Tae-sik to stop him, but Tae-sik said the bully wouldn't fall for the whistle trick again. Still, the young man didn't care, and told him to do whatever it took to stop the worst because, in his mind, this wasn't a fight Kang Dae-chun could win. Meanwhile, Kang Ha-neul was still zooming around. Then he stopped. Our hero was in front of a tunnel. He knew it was the quickest way out of town, so he dashed into the dark tunnel without a second thought. While exploring, Kang Ha-neul thought this must be the bully's escape route if he thought Tae-sik was a cop. But just as he thought the bully was gone, he heard a noise at the tunnel's end. Ha-neul realized it was a walkie-talkie, so he rushed over, only to see a shadow at the tunnel's end. The young man charged ahead to finally face his enemy. But as he charged and grabbed the guy's shoulder, our hero was shocked again because he had the wrong guy, so he quickly said sorry for the mix-up. The stranger bolted away. Ha-neul was fuming, thinking his target slipped away. Then he felt a chill down his spine as his old nemesis was suddenly behind him. After all this time, our hero was face to face with the ultimate bully, but for some reason, he just couldn't move. Kang Dae-chun started smacking him on the head, calling him rude for not saying hi properly. The troublemaker then remembered that time our hero fainted after seeing his friend in trouble, and while hitting him, said Shung-na was now his loyal servant. Our hero suddenly felt a fiery rage. Kang Dae-chun bragged about hitting the girl when she looked helpless and begged him to stop. Then, he decided to show the protagonist an example. But just then, in the heat of the moment, someone stopped his hand. Kang Ha-neul was ready to fight back, saying he'd do to the thug everything he did to his friend. Kang Dae-chun found it hilarious, thinking a skinny nerd couldn't touch him, only to get a jaw-cracking punch that hurt like crazy. With Kang Dae-chun now airborne, our protagonist acted fast and charged at him head first. Kang Ha-neul grabbed his opponent by the head. He braced himself and unleashed all his anger, and just like that, the bully was slammed into the ground. Kang Ha-neul said there was more coming and punched him in the face again. But as he kept hitting him, our hero suddenly ran out of breath. Still, he wanted revenge, so he went for one last punch, only for it to be stopped, shocking him. Kang Dae-chun mocked him for his weak endurance. He got ready to counterattack, saying the young man really surprised him, and just like that, our hero was kicked off his target. The hit was so strong that pain shot through his veins. Our protagonist was grabbed by the arm and swung by his opponent. Just like that, he was slammed into a pile of wood. With Kang Ha-neul on the ground and hurting, Kang Dae-chun charged at him, annoyed by the boy's persistence. Then our hero dodged the punch at the last second and decided to use his feet to kick his opponent in the head. But seeing this, someone cracked a huge smile. Kang Ha-neul was left horrified. Kang Dae-chun launched himself at our protagonist, throwing him away. The thug was full of energy. The amazing state of his opponent, compared to his own pitiful one, left the young man puzzled. Seeing this, the bully explained the pain was from landing on a pile of nails and wood earlier. Realizing he was impaled from the back, Kang Ha-neul braced himself and grabbed the piece of wood. After much effort, he finally pulled it out and threw it on the ground. Kang Ha-neul struggled to stand on his feet. At that moment, Kang Dae-chun had a nasty idea, grabbing the same piece of wood that impaled our protagonist. Kang Dae-chun said our hero should have respected the pecking order and accepted his place below him before going for the final blow. Then, out of nowhere, a savior appeared. Kang Dae-chun didn't expect Tae-sik to suddenly show up and bite his ear. The bully screamed in pain. He grabbed the loser by the head and slammed him into the ground. After getting bitten, Kang Dae-chun had enough of the loser's rebellion. So he decided to give them both what they deserved. Yet, to his shock, Tae-sik called him laughable. These words really ticked off the bully. Tae-sik said Dae-chun was about to meet his doom. At that moment, the bully thought the lackey finally lost it after being a minion for so long. But just as the bully was about to end the loser, he suddenly stopped. Tae-sik cracked a smug smile as many gang members appeared behind him. The big guy was annoyed to see someone messing with their faction's champ. With that, Kang Dae-chun promised revenge someday before running off into the night. The next day at the hospital, Tae-sik stood beside Ha-neul, who was in a hospital bed. The boy asked his friend if he wanted to check on Shung-na, who was also a patient there. Kang Ha-neul was all, "Nah, I can't see her, not after all the mess she's been through, 'cause of me." Dude was stuck in a guilt loop, blaming himself for passing out when Shung-na needed him most, feeling as useless as a chocolate teapot. Then Tae-sik was like, "Remember when I texted you about saving the girl?" Hearing this, our hero's face lit up like a Christmas tree, eager for the deets. Tae-sik flashed back to his unlucky days when bullies made him film stuff for blackmail. That night, after our hero KO'd, they kept pounding on the girl. But that wasn't enough. They made him film it for more blackmail ammo. Just then, the cops rolled up, saving Seung Na's hide. Tae-sik spilled the beans, admitting he was the one who called the cops. He apologized big time for keeping it hush-hush, fearing the bullies would turn him into a ghost. In a panic, he confessed he called the cops anonymously. No names, no descriptions. Seeing our hero about to flip, Tae-sik was like, "Chill, I did all I could." But then, our hero, tears and all, thanked him from the bottom of his heart. Kang Han-nul was super grateful to Tae-sik, but Tae-sik brushed it off, saying he was off to see Kang Yeon. He dropped the bomb that our hero's sparring buddy got wrecked by Kang Dae-chun and had to bail on the tournament. Tae-sik grumbled that his new rival was into Seung Na, hence the visit. Our hero was puzzled by the competition talk, but Tae-sik shrugged it off, saying only work buddies would visit. So, as he went to check on him, Kang Han-nul tagged along. A bit later, outside Yeon's room, the nurse told Tae-sik the patient was cool with visitors, but needed names and digits. Our hero went in first, while Tae-sik joked they were probably the first friends to visit. The nurse corrected him, saying someone spent the whole night in the room. As soon as he opened the door, Kang Han-nul was shook, finding himself face-to-face with his old buddy, now staring at the blank-faced Seung Na. Our hero couldn't handle the heat and bolted out of the room, slamming the door behind him. Tae-sik was all, "What's up with that?" But seeing him fuming, he knew who was in Kang Yeon's room. Just like that, a wall was up between the old pals. Kang Han-nul was boiling, thinking he had no right to talk or say sorry to the girl. Then someone showed up on their floor. Seeing a crying dude in the hallway, the girl was curious. Lee Ha-ru was stunned to see our hero like this, tears streaming down his face. Our frustrated hero knew there was only one move left. Kang Han-nul vowed to come back, swearing on his soul to take down whoever hurt Seung Na in public. But the girl stayed silent. Kang Han-nul said only then could he return and apologize to Seung Na. Tae-sik begged him to drop the revenge plan, calling it a death wish. He said Seung Na would totally be against it. But surprise, a voice from the room disagreed. Seung Na told Ha-nul to go get his revenge on Kang Dae-chun. Her words rocked our hero's world as she said only then would she forgive him. Hearing this, Tae-sik and the elf were floored. But our battle-loving maniac just grinned like a shark, and off he zoomed through the hospital halls, promising not to let her down. Boom. Silence took over the room like it was the boss or something. Kang Yeon was out, leaving the girl to breathe easy. Seung Na got curious when Tae-sik rolled in. He wanted to know why she dropped those words on the main dude, but she just hit him with the silent treatment. Then, someone from the back was all, "Yo, Seung Na's got visitors." Lee Ha-ru was like, "I cracked your code, girl." But Seung Na stayed zipped. Tae-sik was all confused, asking for the 411. The elf spilled that Kang Han-nul was a friendless disaster magnet. And when she mentioned he had 0 messenger apps, Tae-sik was like, "Whoa, that's Seuss, since Han-nul's a lone wolf with barely any pals." Lee Ha-ru was sure Seung Na had a reason for her words, knowing sweet talk wouldn't cut it for our hero. Seung Na dropped the bomb that Kang Han-nul used to say one thing daily. He called himself his mom's murderer. The boy was totally freaked out by this. Seung Na explained Han-nul felt awful for not saving his only friend, his mom. Lee Ha-ru guessed the girl wanted to lift the boy's guilt by keeping him away from the Saint League bullies, max safety mode. Then, they all felt like clowns. Kang Yeon, fresh from dreamland, said they messed up big time leaving the battle-crazy dude unsupervised. Lee Ha-ru and Tae-sik were shook. The boy reminded them the doc said the main guy needed bed rest, while the girl was like, "We gotta get him his stem cell detox meds ASAP." And Tae-sik was worried he'd get hurt if he fought. But as the elf dashed to his room, Kang Yeon said Han-nul wouldn't be there. He was probably out hunting for Kang Dae-chun. Tae-sik was like, no way he can find his enemy. But the fighter in bed said there was one spot for Dae-chun intel, and they needed to jet there pronto. That spot? Chunyang High School, where Han-nul and his crew hang out. Han-nul figured the best way to find Kang Dae-chun was to grill his minions. He started with the toothless bully. Han-nul asked a student about the bully, but when he stopped him for info, the kid yelled for him to back off. Han-nul was shook by the reaction. Everyone was scared of the bullies and didn't want trouble. Our hero realized the school still saw him as the same old loser, even though he was a fighter in the Saint League. But he didn't care. Finding Kang Dae-chun was priority number 1. When he walked into the classroom, students freaked, thinking the bullies would cause chaos because of him. Han-nul took a deep breath and shocked everyone by yelling for the bullies to show up. Everyone thought he'd lost it. Han-nul didn't wait long for results. The bullies finally rolled in. Some students panicked, seeing the loser picking fights with the big shots. The lead bully demanded answers, thinking all problems were handled. But when someone introduced our hero as Kang Han-nul, the big guy was stunned to see the skinny dude from the rumors. Meanwhile, our hero was cool, checking out the scene. He noticed new faces among the school's bullies. He quickly realized the guy in front was the new king of the school. Then, bam, the pain in his back hit again. Hanul figured out the doc was spot on about his condition, and he really needed to chill. One of the bullies noticed our dude must have gotten hurt in his last brawl. He saw this as his big chance to be the guy who took down the wild dude who soloed the whole hideout. So, he asked the new boss, Ma Sung-chul, to let him handle it. Face to face with our hero, the bully bragged that unlike last time when he was fresh out of surgery, he was now at full power. Kang Ha-nul quickly realized he couldn't take on all these thugs at once, and while the dude in front kept yapping nonsense, our hero was busy plotting his next move. Out of nowhere, a kick was launched. The bully wanted to wrap this up ASAP. That's when our guy figured there was only one way to win. And boom, the bully's big attack totally missed. Ha-nul zipped past him, and before the dude even knew what hit him, the battle-crazed maniac ditched his glasses and snapped Ma Sung-chul's leg. As the school's big boss howled in pain, all the regular students were left totally shook. Once he knocked the new school king off his feet, our hero delivered a punch so epic it slammed the dude's head into the ground. After witnessing this epic showdown, all the other bullies were freaked out. Just like that, the school's big boss was taken down by one of the so-called losers. No one in the class could wrap their heads around it. The predator locked eyes on his next target. The other bullies were so scared, they started backing away slowly before bolting like scaredy cats. And with that, only one comeback was left. Kang Ha-nul demanded to know where Dae-chun was, but the dude said he couldn't help. So, as our hero told him he didn't have to spill the beans right away, the bully was left scratching his head. At that moment, the battle-crazed maniac charged forward, eager to pound the info out of the thug. But as soon as the bully decided to spill, our hero hit the brakes. The bully revealed Kang Dae-chun was known to hang at a certain club, and when our hero asked about it, the dude said going there was nuts, because it was run by punks. But Kang Ha-nul didn't care and pushed for the address. Later that night, the young dude finally reached the spot. The club was called H2 Club. As soon as he got there, Kang Ha-nul, seeing this kind of place, thought he needed to get in ASAP. Spotting the high schooler, the bodyguard was curious, and when he tried to enter, he stopped him right away. The guy told the teen he couldn't come in and rudely told him to scram. This made Kang Ha-nul realize it was an adults-only club, meaning Kang Dae-chun shouldn't be there either. But just as he thought he had the wrong place, he heard someone inside saying the boss wanted to see Dae-chun. Ha-nul quickly spun around, and after spotting the one who just entered, he knew this was his target. So, he tried to rush in again. The security guard pinned him to the wall, saying minors weren't allowed. Seeing this, Ha-nul squeezed the guy's arm and with a wild grin, told him to back off. This freaky look startled and ticked off the gangster. So, he decided to mess with the kid. They said the teen fought back, and just like that, both hits landed. But to our hero's surprise, both attacks were blocked by none other than the drunk himself. Ha-nul didn't expect his teacher to show up, and as the thug's backup rolled in, the master told his students it was time to show off all their progress. One thug whipped out a knife, ready to prove to the outsiders they were on their turf. The master told the kid it was time to show off his speed, but before he could even finish, the kid zoomed ahead. Then bam! He nailed one thug with a flying kick to the gut. The master thought this was the ultimate dumb move, because another thug grabbed the kid from behind. The dude lifted the high schooler up like a rag doll, and then slammed him onto the ground. Ha-nul was hurting bad, coughing up blood. The thugs decided to teach the wild teen some respect, but just as one was about to stomp him, he saw something coming. And boom, the thug got punched with insane force. The hit was so strong it messed him up big time. The guy crashed into a board, after getting launched a good distance. Ha-nul was shook by his teacher's power. The master wanted to know why the kid jumped in, and the kid said he was just following orders. Then one thug yelled for backup to handle the pesky martial artists, and as the bad guys swarmed from all sides, the master grabbed his student and said he wasn't talking about fighting speed. He then made a run for it, telling the kid he meant running away speed. Later, when the drunk and the kid ditched the danger, the master banned his student from that club, saying the thugs there were way tougher than school bullies. When the kid mentioned he was looking for someone, the master knew he meant Kang Dae-chun. He asked Ha-nul what he'd do after finding him, since taking out Dae-chun was the only option. The master said the kid couldn't do it, as Dae-chun was a level 3 champ, way out of his league. But Ha-nul insisted Kang Dae-chun's crimes couldn't slide, so the master reminded him he trained him for this, and had a deal he'd dig. But then the kid collapsed right there. The master said he'd need to survive to hear it. A bit later at Hyun-sung Hospital, where our heroes hung out a lot, 3 people stood in front of the oxygen capsule, with Kang Ha-nul resting inside. His master and friends were stressing because he'd be out for a week, and his match was tomorrow. Basically, the thugs who made him their champ were gonna stir up some serious trouble. Our video ends here. If you liked it, leave your like. See you next time. Bye-bye.